Hey, how's it going? Everybody doing good on this Sunday afternoon? What's up? My name's Adam. I'm the creator of this Foundry module, and I wanted to show all you guys all the cool features that I added to it. First, I'm going to separate this video into kind of two sections. One of the sections is going to be more player focused, and then the other section is going to be more game master focused. And for the player focused section, I'm going to actually show you how to make a character in CAIN and also how to use my sheet to make those characters. So first off, here you can add in all the attributes for your character. So I'll just name him Conroy. So after you fill in some information about how your character's appearance may look, one of the important things about this game is first when they say when you make an exorcist, it's important that you answer these questions. So in this description section, I automatically added the questions that were in the book. So you'll answer all these questions. So after answering all those questions and getting some of your backstory, what you're now going to do is you're going to actually set your skills. So then after you do that, you increase 2 of the skills to 2 for the ones that you're good at, and then you decrease 3 of them to 0. I'm making a guy who's really dumb, but he's good at, fighting, conditioning, blah, 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 blah. He's good at some things. Okay. So then you're going to pick an agenda. So where are agendas on this sheet? Agendas are over here under abilities. So here under your agendas, you have a my agenda section, and here is where you're going to be able to add your agenda items and your agenda abilities. But I actually have items created that you could drag onto your sheet to see what these powers are for the agendas and the blasphemy. So first, I'll pick an agenda. So if I go to my items here, and if your game master imported these from my compendium, you'll be able to see all the agendas lined up here. So if I just take a look, I read one, yeah, the beast, yeah, this one's lit. I'm gonna take the beast, I'm gonna drag it over onto my sheet, and as you can see, the beast gets added. So from my beast sheet, I can then look at my agenda items and add 2 of them. You also have to choose a blasphemy, and you get 2 powers from that blasphemy to start. So I'm just going to pick from Ardeen. And as you can see in each of them, I have an is passive mark. So you can check to see if it is a passive or not. So for this one, for example, it is not the passive. And you could just look around for the passive. When you pick your blasphemy, you automatically get this passive. So one of these is it. It's the one I didn't click in Inner Furnace. So then I'll drag Inner Furnace onto my sheet, and then I'll pick 2 blasphemy powers. So I'll pick Storm and Void. You have items as well, and to get the starter items, if your GM imported the items from my compendiums, you could then take from this kit and item section, go to starter gear, and just drag all of those onto your sheet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to step through the sheet and kind of show you how everything works. So on this sheet, you have basically a list of your stats slash afflictions and advancements. So here you start at cat 1, I believe, on every sheet. So make sure you click that. And then here you're able to adjust your EXP bar to level up. I have a thing here that says how to level up on each thing. I have a thing here that basically says, how do you advance when you mark your EXP? You do it at the end of a session. And under here, I have a couple of things. Here, you can mark your injuries, your stress, and your divine agony. But I'll get to the talismans in a moment, which will be where you store your hooks and your talismans. And here I have a dice roller, and this dice roller is pretty simple. So you just select the skill that you want to roll for, and your GM or your teammates will tell you if you get any of these bonuses. You do hard, setup, teamwork, etc. And then if I click roll, it will then roll in the chat. Let's say I do a conditioning with 2 extra dice. If I click roll here, you see it will roll 4 dice and give you 2 successes. That's because you have 2 4s here. In this game, the way you measure success in most of your rolls is if you get a 4 or up on the rolls. So if you get a 4 or up, that's how the rolls succeed. And if you have a hard roll, that means that they only succeed on 6s. So if I click roll here, you see how none of these were 6s? Even though I have a 4, you would think that I would succeed, but no, on a hard roll, that would be no successes. In the game, you have like a resting section and you roll 2d3, and if you roll that, it will then give you instructions on how to use that. Kit and items, you're able to adjust the amount of script you get and then manually subtract how many points you use for your kit points or your script. This is your kit points and these are your script, and these would be your starting items. For your abilities, so for your psych roll, basically your psych is you use it, and I put a description here for your blasphemy powers. And when you roll psych, this actually scales with your cat level. So you see how this is roll psych 1d6 right now? If I click it and then I click roll, it'll only roll one dice because my cat level's one. But if I scale up to level 3, this will then update and become 2d6 because it's half your cat level rounded up. So that would be 3 rounded up would be 2. So for your sin, I have a couple systems here. So you're able to roll your sin. So a lot of times you could use your blasphemy powers to roll sin, and you then get some points in your sin. So I rolled a 2 here, and then I got 2 in my sin. You're also able to roll a resist roll. This is like when you go to your sin overflow. If you fail this roll, you die. And then you have your sin marks. So if you get to the end of this sin overflow and you overflow and live, you then get a sin mark. So I have the sin mark formula like automatically added into this sheet. So if you click roll sin marks here, it'll automatically give you a sin mark. And if you roll a 6, so I'm going to keep rolling until I roll a 6, you actually get to be able to choose your sin mark, which is how it is in the book. So, I choose skin, hair, legs, and then you get these abilities with your sin marks. And then I have this talisman section. So your talismans, basically, there are a bunch of things that they could be used for. One of them is hooks. Hooks are basically something that the administrator gives you or your game master, and they basically give them to you as sort of like mini challenges or things that happen in the storyline. Also, they can be used to represent your life. So you have like an execution talisman, for example, and if you click on this talisman like this, you see that it goes up with the amount of marks that you can have. And right now you have 6 marks. If you need to have more than 6 marks on any given talisman, what I've been doing for now is I just make another talisman, and then I just call this like execution part 2. Execution part 2. And then I'll just add, and then this will be like 7 marks, etc. Okay, so now I'll go on to the GM section. So for the game master, there are several aspects that I added into the system. So one of them is the global talismans feature. Now, this feature, when a player gets to look at it, they don't get to see any of these buttons or anything like that. All they see is the name and the talisman, and it gets live updated on their side. So if you click out and click on this talisman, they get an update with this talisman there. But let's say you want to have a talisman that you don't show publicly. You could easily click hide here and it will hide it from the player on their side. And then if you click show, it'll then show it, and then you could add and delete as many talismans as you want. Then I added in 2 quality of life rolls. So this one right here is a risky dice, and then this one is a fate roll. So this, you could roll the risk dice, and then it tells you like what type of result the outcome of their thing will be. Some skills you can make risky, and then you roll the risky dice while they roll their own dice, and then this kind of determines the outcome of what happens on their action. And then I have a fate dice, which just decides the outcome of specific things when you have to do like a fate roll. So under your actor section, you're able to create 2 types of NPCs. One's sins and one's mundane. So for the sins, we have a lot of features. So basically, you're able to select a sin type, the 6 from the book. And if I choose Toad, for example, it will auto fill in all the things that were in the book. So it fills in your palace, pressure, appearance, dramas, all the attacks, the complications, the afflictions, etc. And then you could go, and if you click severe attack, it'll show you what the severe attack is, and then you could roll the dice modifier, and then in the dice roller, it'll roll the severe attack for you. And here you have the domains. So if you want to look up a specific domain for your sin, you could do that here. So let's say you wanted to make your own sin type, right? You didn't want to use the starting 6. Then I made a redacted section, which lets you just write in whatever you want in all of these fields. so that you're able to just do it by yourself so you can write whatever you want. I also have a mundane actor, and these are for all the other NPCs. So here I just have complications and threats. Here you could just write your description of whatever you want. And then here for your reaction, what you could do is that I basically had it so that you could roll a 1d6 and any of these bubbles it will roll. It'll be roll 1, roll 2, roll 3, roll 4, and you can write whatever you want in them to inflict stress, to do damage, etc. If you ever want to use the icons that I've been using for anything else, if you click on these, you'll go to this systems folder for the assets, icons, items, etc. And for this, for the systems, you then can go back one file, and here you have a bunch of folders with some icons in them. So you have agendas, blasphemies, items, roles, sins, talismans, etc. So if you ever wanted to change any of these assets, so let's say I wanted my talisman A0 to look like something different. If I replaced this talisman A0 with something else in the system, you then can change the look of what that looks like. So if you wanted to put in a custom talisman, for example, from A through 6, then you would follow this structure. Thank you for watching this video. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me on the Discord. I think my name is Adam Costandi, my actual name. And you could also probably type messages into the resource hub when I post this so that you can access and use this system.